Saw signs that he wasn't feeling so well. It just happened a split second.
When I did first get vitiligo, my mom was, she was worried, you know, it was something that she hadn't heard of before.
Do you think celebrities have it all? Fame, money, a lavish lifestyle. But there's one thing that even millions of dollars or power can't buy: health. In the glitzy world of Hollywood, 27 big names have faced diseases so rare that even doctors were left stumped. Some collapsed suddenly on stage, others fought from childhood until their very last breath. So, what vicious illnesses struck these black stars? How did they destroy them? Let's dive into their stories in this video. And don't forget to grab some tissues before you keep watching, because the tales I'm about to tell will bring you to tears. 27. Danny Glover, the epileptic nightmare that nearly buried a Hollywood legend. Danny Glover, a name tied to the classic action-packed Lethal Weapon series, a Hollywood icon. But behind that illustrious career, few know he lived with a terrifying obsession: epilepsy. This condition didn't just torment him physically, it was a psychological nightmare that haunted him through his teenage years, threatening to crush his dreams before they even began. Back in the 1950s, as a young boy in San Francisco, Danny Glover experienced his first seizure right at home. No warning signs, just a sudden stiffness, eyes rolling back, foam spilling from his mouth. His mother could only hold him tight, too horrified to speak. It wasn't the last time. In the years that followed, seizures struck out of nowhere. In class, on the street, in the middle of a crowd. Witnesses panicked, friends pulled away, teachers didn't know what to do. He lived in daily fear, never knowing when the next attack would hit. But Hollywood isn't made for the weak. Glover knew that. He chose to hide his condition, training himself to take control. When that strange tingling ran through his body, the telltale sign of an oncoming seizure, he'd stay calm, regulate his breathing, clench his fists to hold it together. Then, like a miracle, as he reached adulthood, the seizures stopped. Doctors couldn't explain it. The odds of spontaneous recovery are 1 in 100,000, almost unthinkable. But Glover beat them. Now in his 70s, Danny Glover hasn't forgotten that haunting fear. It could return any day, but he's not afraid anymore. 26. Bernie Mac. Laughter couldn't mask the pain of a deadly disease. Bernie Mac, the legendary comedian with a one-of-a-kind humor that had America roaring with laughter, hid a horrifying truth. For over 20 years, he battled the ruthless disease sarcoidosis, a rare, incurable condition that silently ravaged his lungs and broke his body down day by day. In 1983, at just 26, Bernie Mac was rising in the comedy scene when his body began betraying him. Endless coughing fits. Every breath became torture. His whole body ached, drained, but he brushed it off as a cold. The truth, though, was far crueler than he imagined. Doctors diagnosed him with sarcoidosis, a rare illness where the immune system attacks its own body. Inflammatory masses formed in his lungs, liver, eyes, even his heart. It's especially brutal for African Americans, and Bernie Mac was no exception. Yet instead of slowing down, he threw himself into work. The Bernie Mac Show launched in 2001, turning him into a superstar. But behind the cameras, he wrestled with pain and sleepless nights, gasping for air. By 2005, the disease worsened. He coughed up blood, his lungs shredded as if by 1,000 knives. Still, he kept filming, forcing himself to stay strong. In 2007, on the set of Soul Men, he collapsed, unable to breathe. The disease had destroyed his lungs beyond repair. On August 9, 2008, Bernie Mac took his final breath. 25. Charlie Murphy, a vicious blood disease that stole his life in a flash. Charlie Murphy, brother to the legendary Eddie Murphy, wasn't just a talented comedian, he was a tough, resilient man. He served in the U.S. Navy, lived a bold life, and brought laughter to millions. But even that strength couldn't stand up to an invisible, merciless foe: acute myeloid leukemia, AML. Late in 2016, Charlie Murphy started feeling exhausted. persistent fatigue, body aches, his skin oddly pale. At first, he chalked it up to overwork. Then came the alarming signs: unexplained bruises, uncontrollable weight loss, nearly 20 pounds in just months. Early 2017 brought the devastating verdict: AML, one of the deadliest forms of blood cancer. Worse, he had a rare genetic mutation, FLT3 or NPM1, making it incredibly hard to treat, with only a few thousand cases worldwide each year. Charlie dove into the fight. Chemo started immediately. But AML is a relentless killer. It spreads so fast that a delay of weeks can be fatal. Even with treatment, the 5-year survival rate hovers at 25 to 30%. In early 2017, he endured brutal pain, hair loss, nausea, crippling weakness. Yet he kept his spirits up, cracking jokes about his condition. Still, everyone could see he was fading fast. Then came the fateful day, April 12, 2017. After just months of battling, Charlie Murphy took his last breath in a New York hospital. He'd kept his illness a secret until the end, refusing to let anyone see him weak. When the news broke, Hollywood froze in shock. 24. Hank Gathers. A deadly fall on the court at the peak of his career. Hank Gathers was one of the brightest basketball talents of the 80s. A scoring machine, a fearless warrior. But no one could have predicted that, at the height of his career, he'd suddenly collapse. In December 1989, Gathers was dominating the court when he dropped after a free throw against UC Santa Barbara. No one knew why. He convulsed on the floor, then quickly came to. As teammates panicked, he just grinned, eager to keep playing. But doctors didn't take it lightly. Tests revealed hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, HCM, a condition where the heart's walls thicken abnormally, blocking blood flow and risking sudden death at any moment. He was prescribed medication to regulate his heart, but the side effects dulled his speed and power. Unwilling to accept that, Hank secretly cut his dose, a fatal choice. On March 4, 1990, Gathers took the court against Portland, determined to prove he was still at his best. After a thunderous dunk, he jogged back on defense, then stumbled. In a split second, he crumpled to the floor. The arena fell silent. Medics rushed in, performing CPR on the spot. But this time, Hank didn't get up. 90 minutes later, the hospital confirmed he was gone. His heart had betrayed him for good. 23rd. Winnie Harlow, surviving a nightmare disease that stunned the world. Winnie Harlow isn't like any other model. She doesn't have flawless skin or conventional beauty. Instead, she bears the marks of vitiligo, a condition that once got her mocked, shunned, and labeled as different. But rather than bowing to fate, she turned it into her signature. She struts on the world's top runways, graces Vogue covers, and reps brands like Marc Jacobs, Dior, and Victoria's Secret, all thanks to what was once seen as a flaw. Her journey, though, wasn't a fairy tale. It started as a childhood nightmare. At age 4, her mom noticed strange white patches around her mouth and eyes. At first, no one thought much of it. But as they spread, as her skin split into stark contrasting colors, fear gripped her family. The diagnosis: vitiligo, a rare, untreatable, uncontrollable disease. No one knew where the patches would appear next or how far they'd go. School became hell. Friends ditched her, taunted her. Cow, freak, contagious. Those words cut deep. At times, she couldn't take it, dropping out, hiding in her room, sinking into depression. She even thought about ending it all. Then, in 2014, her life took a turn. She stepped onto America's Next Top Model, a place where no one believed a girl with patchy skin could survive in fashion's glossy world. But she did. And she went further. She became a sensation. Top designers fought for her. Fashion mags hailed her as a new beauty icon. The disease once called a curse became the mark that conquered the world. But vitiligo isn't just skin deep. It can bring a host of autoimmune issues, crush a person's spirit, and strip away confidence forever. Winnie Harlow is one of the few who broke free. 22nd. Tian T-Boz Watkins, a death prophecy and a survival battle spanning over half a century. Tian T-Boz Watkins isn't just an R&B icon, she's a true fighter. As a member of TLC, the best-selling female group of the 90s with millions of fans worldwide, she shone bright. But behind the stage lights, she battled daily with sickle cell disease, SCD, a rare blood disorder that could kill her at any moment. At 7 years old, Tian first felt a pain no one could fathom. It tore through her bones and joints, her body burning from the inside out. Breathing was a struggle, blood clotted in her veins, turning every step into agony. When doctors diagnosed her, they offered no comfort. They just said, coldly, "You won't make it past 30. A 7-year-old, barely grasping what death meant, had been handed a death sentence. The years that followed were a relentless fight against illness. While her friends played, she bonded with hospital beds. But Tian refused to live like a victim. In 1991, she teamed up with Lisa, Left Eye Lopes, and Rosonda Chili Thomas to form TLC, skyrocketing the group to global fame. The cost, though, was steep. She collapsed from exhaustion on stage, fainted backstage, and racked up countless hospital stays. Once, complications got so bad her kidneys nearly shut down. Doctors warned, keep going like this, and she'd die even sooner than predicted. In 2000, she got pregnant. Doctors freaked out. You could die on the delivery table. But Tian didn't back down. She endured excruciating pain to give birth to her daughter, Chase Rollison, then spent nearly a year recovering. The disease didn't let up. In 2006, severe pneumonia almost took her out. Once again, people thought she wouldn't get back up. But today, at 54, an unthinkable age for someone with this condition, Tian is still here, still fighting. Above all, she's living proof of one thing: no sentence can dictate a person's fate. 21. Laila Ali, the undefeated boxer, and her brutal fight with a mysterious disease. Laila Ali isn't just Muhammad Ali's daughter, she carved her own name into boxing history with an undefeated 24-0 record. A true warrior, a powerhouse who seemed unbreakable. But few knew that even after stepping out of the ring, she was still battling. Not a flesh-and-blood opponent, but a rare autoimmune disease quietly eating away at her, Sjogren's syndrome. In 2007, after her 24th straight win, Laila Ali abruptly retired. People assumed she'd had her fill of glory, but the truth was far harsher. Years earlier, her body started sending weird signals. A mouth so dry water couldn't soothe it, eyes burning like they'd been rubbed with sand. Her skin tightened, cracking painfully. The nightmare didn't stop there. Joint pain set in, her fingers feeling crushed, each punch, once her deadliest weapon, now torture. Laila bounced from hospital to hospital, but no one could figure it out. They told her she was dehydrated, exhausted, or even imagining it. Finally, a doctor diagnosed Sjogren's syndrome, an autoimmune disorder where the body attacks its moisture-producing glands. No cure, just management. It's an invisible sentence. It doesn't kill right away, but it dismantles you bit by bit. Her teeth weakened, prone to breaking without saliva to protect them. Her joints ached more each day. Some mornings, she couldn't even clench a fist. And the fatigue, the worst part, dragged on so long even a warrior could crumble. But Laila Ali never gives up. She overhauled her diet, sought treatments to manage it, and most importantly, used her story to raise awareness about Sjogren's. 20. Gary Coleman, the child star, trapped in a kid's body by a vicious kidney disease. Hollywood once knew a boy with a radiant smile, sharp eyes, and a catchphrase, "What you talking about, Willis?" that took America by storm. That was Gary Coleman, the pint-sized star of different strokes. But behind the glitz, that little boy never truly grew up. A rare congenital kidney disease froze his development forever. Born with a severe kidney disorder, possibly nephronophthisis, so rare it strikes just 1 in 100,000 kids, Gary never stood a chance at normal growth. While other kids shot up, his body stalled, capped at 4 feet 8 inches for life. But it wasn't just height. The disease ravaged his kidneys, forcing him onto dialysis from a young age. Still, fate thrust him into the spotlight. At 10, he became Hollywood's highest-paid child star. But fame came with pain no one could see. 2 kidney transplants, 2 failures. Anti-rejection drugs left his body in agonizing paralysis. By 18, he still looked like a 10-year-old, forever boxed into the child star image he couldn't escape. When Different Strokes ended, Hollywood had no place for him. Worse, his adoptive parents and managers siphoned off the millions he'd earned. He went bankrupt in 1999, his health crumbling. In 2010, a fall at home ended his tragic life. Brain hemorrhage, coma, dead at 42. 19. Michael Jackson, the strange disease that transformed the king of pop beyond recognition. Michael Jackson, the legendary name in music, a man with a magical voice, gravity-defying moves, and millions of die-hard fans. But beyond the dazzling stage lights, Jackson was at the center of the wildest rumors in showbiz history. People didn't just talk about his music, they obsessed over the jaw-dropping changes to his face. From a black kid in the Jackson 5, Michael slowly turned into a man with eerily pale skin. It wasn't plastic surgery or bleaching, though. It was a rare autoimmune disease, vitiligo, a pigment disorder that stripped his skin of color in patches, then spread across his whole body, making him a medical rarity in history. In the 1980s, as Thriller took over the world, Michael noticed small white spots on his skin. At first, he hid them with heavy makeup, but the disease moved too fast. By the decade's end, his skin had changed dramatically, growing lighter every day. The press pounced, spreading rumors he was bleaching to erase his black roots. The truth was scarier. He underwent depigmentation therapy, a painful process to even out his skin tone as vitiligo took over completely. The cost was brutal. His skin became so sensitive he couldn't handle sunlight. His immune system weakened, leaving him prone to illness. Public pressure drove him into depression, sedatives, and chronic pain. In 2009, prepping for This Is It, he collapsed from an overdose of powerful sedatives. The autopsy confirmed it. His entire body had lost all pigment. For decades, people mocked and judged him. Only after Michael Jackson's death did the world truly grasp the disease that destroyed him. A musical genius misunderstood and isolated by his condition and society, yet despite it all, his music lives on, immortal. 18. Nyakim Gatwech, Queen of the Dark, and the mystery of a disease making her skin absolutely black. In the modeling world, Nyakim Gatwech isn't just a face, she's a phenomenon. Her deep black skin is unlike anyone else's on Earth, so striking that some suspect she has a rare pigment disorder called hypermelanosis. This condition causes the body to produce melanin far beyond normal levels, resulting in an absolutely dark skin tone that barely reflects light. From childhood, Gatwech was a target of ridicule. People called her black hole, monster, even claiming she was cursed. The harsh words surrounded her, pushing her to once consider bleaching her skin to fit in. But instead of changing herself, she decided to turn her difference into strength. When she stepped into modeling, she was an instant shockwave. Her unbelievably dark skin left even dermatologists baffled. Some doctors suspect she has full-body hypermelanosis, a phenomenon never before recorded in medical history. Typically, hypermelanosis appears as spots or patches, but with Gatwech, it covers her entire body. If true, she could be the first documented case of this natural disorder without underlying illness. But despite the medical debates, Gatwech stands firm. She's become a beauty icon, shattering outdated limits. The skin once deemed freakish is now her pride, the unique mark that makes her shine on runways. And though science still can't fully explain it, the world can only agree on one thing. Nyakim Gatwech is one of humanity's most extraordinary wonders. 17. Chadwick Boseman, Black Panther, and his lonely battle with a rare cancer. Chadwick Boseman wasn't just an actor, he was an icon. From Jackie Robinson to Black Panther, every role he played left a mark on audiences. But while the world hailed him as Wakanda's invincible king, no one knew he was fighting a ruthless enemy: colon cancer, a disease rare in the young, making up just 2 to 4% of cases. And the greatest tragedy, he hid this war for 4 years, right up to his final moment. In 2016, at the peak of his career, Boseman got the grim news: stage 3 colon cancer. It creeps silently, showing no clear signs until it's too late. Early symptoms, weight loss, dull stomach pain, lingering fatigue, might have appeared, but he dismissed them as stress from a packed schedule. That mistake let the disease grow, quietly wrecking his body day by day. But instead of stepping back for treatment, Boseman powered on like a warrior. For 4 years, he filmed blockbusters like Black Panther and Avengers, Endgame, even as surgeries and chemo drained him. No one knew that behind those fierce fight scenes was a man battling unimaginable pain. By 2020, as the cancer reached its final stage, Boseman wasted away. Photos of his frail frame spread online, but instead of concern, some mocked him, dubbing him malnourished Black Panther. They didn't know he had only months left. On August 28, 2020, the world reeled when Boseman's family announced his death at 43. No one could believe Wakanda's king, the hero who stood tall in a cosmic war, had been defeated not by a supervillain, but by a real-life killer. 16. Richard Pryor, from comedy king to multiple sclerosis tragedy, 20 years trapped in his own body. Richard Pryor was a giant of American comedy. With his bold storytelling and biting satire, he revolutionized stand-up. Fans adored his honesty, humor, and unmatched daring. But few knew that behind the stage lights, Pryor faced a nightmare spanning 2 decades. A rare disease, so rare it strikes only about 1 in 1,000, and even rarer in black people. In the late 1970s, Pryor was at his peak. Then strange signs crept in. He stumbled on stage for no reason. His legs grew stiff, his hands shook so bad he could barely hold a mic. At first he blamed it on the side effects of alcohol and drugs, his companions for years. But in 1986, the undeniable truth hit: multiple sclerosis. A cruel disease that attacks the nervous system, weakening muscles and stripping away bodily control. Pryor was stunned. This wasn't the cost of a wild life. It was a life sentence with no way out. By the 1990s, his body became a prison. In 1992, he needed a wheelchair. By 1995, his voice, his sharpest weapon, slipped away. By 1999, Pryor was almost completely immobile. A man who once made the world laugh couldn't speak, couldn't walk, only gazing at those around him with desperate eyes. On December 10, 2005, Richard Pryor died, officially from a heart attack, but in truth, the disease had killed him long before. 15. Tevin Campbell, music genius who vanished amid suspicions of spinal meningitis. In the 1990s, Tevin Campbell was one of R&B's brightest voices. Dubbed Michael Jackson's heir, he had a sweet, soaring voice and hits like "Can We Talk?", "Tell Me What You Want Me to Do," and "I'm Ready." Then, at the height of his career, he disappeared. No scandals, no drama, no explanation. Fans were floored. What happened? Theories swirled, but the scariest was spinal meningitis, a rare disease that can paralyze, steal your voice, or even kill. In the late 90s, Campbell showed odd symptoms: brutal headaches, a neck so stiff he couldn't move it, unexplained fevers, a body unnaturally weak. Most critically, his singing changed. The high notes that defined him grew shaky, unsteady. The music industry's brutal, but could stress cause such severe signs? Spinal meningitis is a dangerous infection that can permanently damage nerves. Untreated, it's 50% fatal. Survivors might lose vocal control. For a singer, losing your voice is a death sentence. By 2001, Campbell vanished completely. No one knows exactly what went down. He never spoke about his health. Some claim he underwent long-term treatment for a mysterious neurological issue. He resurfaced in the 2010s, but not as R&B's golden voice. His singing was weaker, the powerful highs gone. When asked about his absence, Campbell said he just wanted peace, away from pressure. But is that the whole story? Or did a disease change his life forever? 14. Pharrell Williams, Forever Young, Scientific Marvel or Supernatural Mystery. Pharrell Williams is one of the world's most successful artists with a decades-long career. From frontin' to happy, he's ruled music with a unique style and rare talent. But something shocks more than his songs. Pharrell doesn't seem to age. The human body can't escape time. But for Pharrell, biology's rules flip upside down. In 2003, he looked like a guy in his 20s. In 2013, same deal. By 2024, hitting 50, he still hasn't changed from 2 decades ago. What's the secret? Some scientists think Pharrell might have an ultra-rare genetic mutation, delayed aging syndrome, DAS. This incredibly scarce disorder slows cellular decline beyond normal rates. Studies suggest the FOXO3 gene could be the key keeping a few people youthful, and Pharrell might be one of them. But is it a blessing? Or a curse? Those who don't age often get shunned, even seen as not of this world. Some whisper Pharrell's tied to supernatural forces, a vampire, or someone who traded youth with the devil. Whatever the truth, Pharrell Williams' ageless mystery remains one of entertainment's strangest tales. 13. Lamar Odom, a brush with death from a rare kidney disease. Lamar Odom once stood atop the NBA, winning 2 championships with the Los Angeles Lakers and earning the 2011 Sixth Man of the Year award. But that glory crumbled fast. Beyond addiction and tabloid scandals, Odom battled a rare kidney disease that nearly took his life in the slowest, cruelest way. In 2015, after a harrowing drug overdose at a Nevada brothel, Odom hit critical condition. His heart stopped twice. He suffered 12 mini-strokes and 6 heart attacks. But that wasn't the worst part. His kidneys were almost completely shot. Doctors diagnosed him with focal segmental glomerulosclerosis, FSGS, a rare condition that can lead to end-stage renal failure. Endless dialysis, a body wasting away, a career finished. Odom was trapped inside himself. He survived, but he wasn't the same. The NBA icon of yesterday is now just a faint shadow of his past. 12th. Tisha Campbell, the sarcoidosis nightmare that nearly destroyed her life. Tisha Campbell, the 90s sitcom star of Martin, with her radiant smile and vibrant laugh. But behind that shine, she fought a nightmare no one saw coming. Sarcoidosis, a rare autoimmune disease that can ravage lungs, heart, and nerves. In the early 2000s, Campbell felt her body breaking down. Exhaustion drained her, persistent pain lingered, and shortness of breath nearly knocked her out on set. When doctors diagnosed sarcoidosis, she froze. No cure, it could cause organ failure or even death. For an actor and singer, lung damage meant a career in ashes. Every stage step felt like a vice on her chest, her voice fading. But Campbell didn't give up. She fought daily, overhauled her life, and learned to coexist with the vicious disease. Today, she's still standing strong. 11. Karen Clark Sheard. Death gave her a 2% chance, but she defied the impossible. Karen Clark Sheard, a gospel golden voice, member of the Clark sisters, a woman who stood on the razor's edge between life and death. Not a scandal or career crash, but a brutal shock. Endometrial cancer at an age far too young. A rare illness, a silent sentence. In the late 80s, strange signs emerged. Severe abdominal pain, exhaustion, erratic periods. She brushed it off as work stress. But when cancer was confirmed, her world collapsed. This disease usually hits women over 50, yet it chose her. In 2001, doctors gave her a 2% chance of surviving surgery. Her heart actually stopped on the table. But she came back. Defying all odds, she recovered, reclaimed her voice, and took the stage again. 10. Orlando Jones, a rare disease in black people that nearly killed him. Orlando Jones, actor, writer, comedian, shook Hollywood not with a scandal, but with a rare condition few black people face: celiac disease, an autoimmune disorder where the body rejects gluten. In the 2000s, as his career soared, Jones's body turned on him. Every meal felt like his guts were being ripped apart. Dropping nearly 40 pounds in a year, he landed in hospitals repeatedly, exhausted, racked by relentless diarrhea, at times thinking he wouldn't make it. Misdiagnosed for over a decade, his insides were silently destroyed. When they finally caught it, his gut was badly scarred, cancer risk skyrocketing. He had to overhaul his diet to claw back his life. 9. Toni Braxton, the R&B queen's life or death fight with a deadly disease. Toni Braxton, R&B icon, legendary voice behind Unbreak My Heart, stunned the world not just with music, but with her grueling battle against systemic lupus erythematosus. A rare autoimmune disease, it quietly tore her apart, pushing her to the brink of life and death. In 2008, right before a Las Vegas show, Toni collapsed. Her heart raced erratically, her body seized up, her breathing faltered. She nearly died from myocarditis, a terrifying lupus complication. Waking up in the hospital, doctors dropped a chilling truth: this disease would never let her go. It's an endless war where every day alive could be her last. 8. Seal, the scarred face and lupus battle, when pain became his icon. Seal, his husky, captivating voice behind Kiss from a Rose, conquered the world with music and a tragic story etched into his scarred face. He wasn't born with those marks. They're the legacy of a brutal disease. Discoid lupus erythematosus, DLE, a rare lupus form that attacks the skin, wrecking his face and leaving permanent scars. Seal's teenage years were a nightmare. Red, raw sores erupted across his face and scalp, spreading fast, scarring deeply. Hair fell out in clumps. Doctors warned if uncontrolled, his skin would keep crumbling. But the real pain wasn't physical. It was society's stares. Seal hated mirrors, once considered hiding his face forever. Instead, he turned pain into power. When the stage lights hit, the world bowed to the voice of a warrior. 7. Jay Dilla, the hip-hop genius's life or death fight with a 1 in 100,000 disease. Jay Dilla, a name hip-hop reveres, a man who revolutionized rap with magical beats. Behind the brilliance was a desperate fight with a rare disease, TTP, a blood-clotting disorder that withered him day by day. Rather than wait for death, Jay Dilla created until his final breath, turning agony into music. In 2004, he collapsed in the studio, platelets crashing to lethal lows, tiny clots assaulting his body. A year later, he could barely walk, confined to a wheelchair, clinging to life with constant transfusions. The most staggering part? Donuts, his final album, was finished as he lay dying. 3 days after his birthday, he was gone. His music, eternal. 6. Missy Elliott, a breathless battle with a disease that took control of her body. Missy Elliott, hip-hop legend, genius producer, the rapper who smashed every boundary. Behind her dazzling career was a fierce fight with Graves' disease, a rare overactive thyroid condition that can send the heart racing, weaken muscles, and rob bodily control. Left unchecked, it's deadly. In 2008, things took a dark turn. She dropped weight uncontrollably, her heart pounded like it might explode, her hands shook so bad she couldn't drive. A year later, doctors confirmed Graves in a dangerous stage. Missy vanished from the spotlight, diving into a life-or-death struggle. Somehow, she survived and stormed back to the stage like an unstoppable force. 5. Reggie White, a horrific respiratory collapse that took a football legend. Reggie White, the NFL's defensive titan, a man who struck fear with thunderous tackles. No one guessed what brought him down wasn't gridiron hits, but sarcoidosis, a sinister disease silently attacking his lungs and heart. In 2004, just years after retiring, Reggie White collapsed at home. He couldn't breathe, his body racked by horrific pain. By the time the ambulance arrived, it was too late. The autopsy revealed a chilling truth. Sarcoidosis had ravaged his lungs for years, unnoticed. A legend left in shock, his death a stark warning about this rare killer. 4. Flo Hyman, collapsing mid-game, a death that shook the volleyball world. Flo Hyman, America's volleyball queen, led her team to a historic Olympic silver medal with her commanding 6 feet 5 inches frame. But that extraordinary body hit a ticking time bomb. Marfan syndrome, a rare genetic disorder that can cause the aorta to rupture without warning. On January 24, 1986, tragedy struck during a match in Japan. Flo Hyman crumpled to the court, clutching her chest, then went still forever. No one could react in time. Minutes later, she was gone, dead on the spot. The autopsy revealed a horrifying truth. Her aorta had burst, ending her brilliant career in an instant. 3. Earl Campbell, football legend and his brutal fight with a mysterious neurological disease. Earl Campbell, the living tank of American football, once crushed defenses with terrifying power. But after his peak years, that steel body began to break down in ways no one could have imagined. By the late 1990s, Campbell sensed something wrong. His legs trembled, muscles weakened, and searing pain tormented him daily. At first, it seemed like the toll of thousands of brutal hits. But as neurological symptoms worsened, the medical world suspected a chilling reality. ALS, the silent killer with no cure that's claimed other former players. 2. Stuart Scott, a life-or-death battle with an ultra-rare cancer. Stuart Scott, ESPN legend, wasn't just a sports anchor, he was a true warrior. He shook up broadcasting with his electrifying, inspiring style. But behind the spotlight, Scott fought a rare cancer to his last breath. In 2007, what seemed like harmless stomach pain led to a devastating diagnosis: appendiceal cancer. An ultra-rare type, it gives almost no warning until it spreads. Surgery, chemo, relapse. He battled daily, even training in MMA to defy death. But in 2015, the fierce fight ended. Stuart Scott passed, but his unbreakable spirit lives on. 1. Heavy D, a sudden death and the nightmare called blood clots. Heavy D, the 80s and 90s rap icon behind hits like Now That We Found Love, wasn't just a hip-hop legend. He was a dynamo of energy. But on November 8, 2011, he died suddenly at 44, leaving the world stunned. Weeks earlier, he felt tired, his legs ached, but he shrugged it off. After a long flight from London to the US, the pain worsened. On that fateful day, he collapsed outside his home. Doctors determined the cause: a pulmonary embolism from deep vein thrombosis. A blood clot traveled from his leg to his lungs, stopping his breath forever. The diseases these 27 Black Stars faced weren't just rare, they were deadly. Some were lucky to survive, while others are gone forever. It's clear that no amount of wealth or fame can shield anyone from the cruel hand of fate when illness strikes. Which story haunts you the most? Drop a comment below. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the next shocking tales from behind Hollywood's glitz.